Hey warriors, we've got a great creativity session for you today. We're gonna start with a writing prompt, work through a little creativity boosting yoga flow, and then we're gonna create. So whenever you're ready, hop on your mat and let's fight for your creativity. Today's prompt is all this loss, all this heartache, all this pain, all caused by... Hey there warriors, in today's rut busting yoga flow, we're actually going to be down on the ground a little bit. So we're gonna start seated and then we're going to go into a tabletop, so kind of on our hands and knees. So if you do have a mat, definitely have it out. If you don't, maybe grab a blanket. It's not the end of the world if you don't. Just be mindful of where you're practicing and that we're going to be putting some pressure on our knees today. A little bit. So we're going to be actually stimulating a little bit of core strength, which in turn kind of stimulates that center where our sacral chakra, our center of creativity lies. So something a little different. We by no means are working on our core in order to get a six-pack or a certain look or anything like that. It's more about strength. If your core is strength, the rest of your body is strong, it supports the rest of your body, and of course, it's all about nourishing that creativity. So we're gonna start seated, whatever that looks like to you, whatever that feels best to you. Sometimes cross-legged can be a little rough. I know some days it is for me as well. But just come in to a comfortable seat, whatever works best for you. Wherever your hands fall is great, whether that's at your sides or on your knees, or maybe you even want to hold them at center for a minute, just while we kind of start to come into our breath. You can put your legs out in front of you as well if that feels better than the cross-legged position. So it doesn't really matter how you're sitting as long as you are being mindful of your body and your breath and starting to come into presence. So we are going to start to just pay attention to that breath a little bit before we start to move. We'll inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And as always, we will just start to be mindful of that head over heart, heart over pelvis alignment. So even when we're sitting here, we're not kind of slouching forward. We are sitting tall and proud and strong. I use the analogy of the string a lot, and that still applies when we are sitting on the ground. You can pretend there is a string at the top of your head, pulling up toward the ceiling, to create a little length in the spine and the neck. Start to just come into the breath. Let anything you've been worrying about start to fall away with each breath, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just paying attention to our breath and our bodies for right now. We can kind of start to move around a little, whatever feels good. Maybe just kind of allow a little twist into the body. So touching that right knee with that left hand, or opposite, whatever. Reaching behind you with that right hand just for a gentle little twist here to start. Looking over that right shoulder maybe. Inhaling back to center and exhaling to twist to the other side. Coming back to center, drop that right hand down to the mat, lift that left arm up, reaching for the sky, and exhale, just lean and reach to the right side of the mat, pulling that left knee toward the earth for a little counterbalance. Inhale back to center, and exhale, drop that left hand, inhale, reach that right arm up. And exhale, reaching it up and over to the left side, pressing that right knee toward the mat. even though it won't touch. Mine certainly doesn't. Might not touch. Yours might. Inhale back towards center and exhale, drop the hand. Maybe walking the hands behind you, but keeping that body centered, head over heart, heart over center. And just opening through the chest and the shoulders. And exhale, release. You can start to roll the neck. Whatever movement feels good here for you and your body today. And it's going to depend how much movement you've already had today. So we're going to, sometimes sitting in that cross-legged you feel it after a little while. Come to our hands and knees. Come to a tabletop position. And if you need to roll up your mat a little, double up your mat, you can always kind of do this a little bit, whatever you need to make sure your knees are comfortable. If you have a little blanket or a towel you want to put under them, feel free to do that. Pause the video, go get that. And then as we start to come into tabletop, adjust my pants here so the seam is not right at my knees. There we go. To come in to the tabletop here, our alignment in tabletop, our wrists are directly below our shoulders, our knees are directly below our hips, hip width apart. That top of the head is reaching forward, so that string is still a great analogy here to invite some length through the neck and spine, pulling the belly button back toward the spine to engage the core. And then we'll start to move through some cat-cow. So inhale to lift the chin, drop the belly, lift the tailbone up toward the sky. And exhale, drop the chin, rounding the back, bringing the pelvis forward, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. And inhale, lift the chin and the chest, pulling the shoulders away from the ears, dropping the belly. And then we can start to move with your own breath at your own pace. Inhale. And if one pose feels better than the other, feel free to pause there for a few breaths. This one in particular, this arched back can feel really good when we've been sitting. Inhale, making sure to press into all 10 fingers rather than allowing to dump into the wrists. And if your wrists and hands do get a little tired, you can always come up onto fists, just making sure that you have a straight line here in your from your fist all the way up. You're not like bending your wrist too much. So we're still moving through cat-cow at a pace that feels good for your body and your breath. And then just start to maybe even it out. So wherever you are, if you're on the inhale, just exhale. Finish your round before you come back to neutral spine here. And if you'd like to stay on your wrists, we're gonna stay in this tabletop position for a little bit longer, so you can stay on the wrists if that feels better, or alternate to start to build some strength through the hands and the wrists. And now we're going to lift the opposite hand and leg. Easier to show than describe, I suppose. So we're going to reach that left arm forward, and we're going to use that left press into the top of that left foot and that left shin, and we're going to reach back and lift up and back with that right leg, keeping that foot flexed so the heel is kind of pointing toward the back of the room. And we're just gonna stretch through the fingertips toward the back of the mat. We're gonna inhale to reach, and exhale, bring that knee toward the chest and the elbow toward the knee. And inhale, reach, and exhale, bring it in. Inhale, Just do this a few times with your own breath. Okay, round that out and then release. Give the knees, maybe that left knee, a little break, a little rub, and just maybe even sit back on the heels for a little break. And then coming back up to tabletop to repeat that on the other side. So we're going to press into that left hand, reaching the right hand forward, lifting the left leg up and back, reaching the heel toward the back of the room, the back of the mat. Inhale to reach through the fingertips. And exhale, bringing the knee to the chest and the elbow toward the knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Inhale, we're engaging our core while we're doing this, pulling the belly button back toward the spine. One more time, inhale and exhale. Contract and inhale. Exhale, release everything to the mat. You can even drop back on our heels. And actually we'll come into a child's pose from here. So you can do traditional, but since we're working on kind of that nurturing that creative center, we might open our hips a little bit here. So open the knees as wide as the yoga mat, bringing the toes together and dropping the bum back toward the heels, reaching the arms up, fingertips up toward the top of the mat for a little extended child's pose, dropping the head toward the mat, the forehead to the mat, and maybe even rocking the forehead back and forth, massaging that third eye so we can kind of see through the veil of the world into our imagination, into creativity. Crazy ideas, I know. But if you're a creator, you know what I mean. Just breathing here. And again, if traditional child's pose feels better for you, you can bring your knees together and even bring your hands to the side of the body. Still maybe giving that forehead a little massage. And after a couple of breaths, we'll come up. And we're not gonna rest too long. Not gonna let ourselves get too relaxed, because now it's time to go dedicate time to our creative endeavors. You don't need to turn off the video. We have some music that will play for a specific amount of time, so you don't even have to worry about setting a timer. The music will play for 25 more minutes, so you can take the prompt or any creative ideas that came up during our practice and just create. So thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste, warriors. Now go fight for your creativity. Welcome to your creativity session. Don't worry about pausing or turning off the video. We'll play some music to keep your creativity flowing as you work. Challenge yourself to keep going until the video ends. You got this. And if you appreciate these videos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Today's prompt is: all this loss, all this heartache, all this pain, all caused by. Time's up, warriors. Great job. I hope this rut-busting flow and creativity session was helpful. Remember, no matter how much or how little you created in this session, you still made the time and showed up. If you want to make these sessions a regular thing, make sure to subscribe and hit the little notification bell to get notified whenever I have a new video. Have a wonderful day, warriors.